New York City, James Caan had big dreams of leaving his family's meat business. He entered Michigan State University with hopes of playing football, but he wound up acting at Sanford Meisner's neighborhood playhouse. In 1972, he had some year with an Academy Award nomination for The Godfather and an Emmy nomination for Brian's Song. Caan was firmly placed among the top stars of the decade. After a 5-year screen absence in the 80s, Caan had hits with films like Misery and Honeymoon in Vegas. His latest role is the upcoming Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie called Eraser. I am pleased to have him here for the first time. Welcome. Great.
Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure. Let's sort of talk about the life that you have lived. And,
and he's great in Eraser. It's actually a decent movie. Not amazing, but it's decent. He's a great villain.
You got 3 or 4 hours. And
yeah, what the heck?
Is
anybody taping?
Well, maybe there may be a couple of
that.
machines around here.
Right.
And we may even have a few clips.
Okay.
This is your life. Growing up in Queens, did you want to be a football player? I mean, you wanted to go to...
Yeah, well... Yeah, it was basically, my neighborhood was not conducive to the arts. You know, it was...
you didn't know any
dancers
actors,
and singers. No actors. My family being in the meat business. And,
the kosher meat business.
No, it wasn't really. I think that's something else they write down there. Yeah. They had the wrong year and the kosher.
Right. They say you were born in 39, you were born in 40.
We sold any kind of meat.
Yeah,
you know, we were
If you
hungry.
wanted meat, you could sell it.
Yeah,
but that was not for you. You as much as you admired your family, you had other ideas.
Yeah, I went to Michigan State when I was 16.
Yeah, how
tried to play football. Yeah, it wasn't because I was bright. It was like, I think
it was because a couple of grades.
Yeah, the high school couldn't wait to get me out. You know, it was like just advance and we can't deal with them any longer.
Yeah.
And I went to play football. As a matter of fact, I saw Duffy Daugherty, who was my coach then. Yeah. I saw him about 16 years later at a racetrack. He used to love to go to the racetrack, and he moved out to Santa Barbara.
And by that time, you were a movie star.
I was in the movies, yes, whatever. And he was sitting with Johnny Majors and Bud Christensen. I hadn't seen him in 16 years, and I walked up, and he goes, "Here's one of my dummies." I said, "Hiya, coach." And he goes, "You know, I ought to get 10% of your career." I go, "Why is that?" He says, "I told you to quit playing football." So, which you did.
Yeah. You then came back to New York to go to the playhouse?
From, I got homesick. I was 16. I went to Hofstra first.
Yeah, right.
For a year. Switched majors I had gone through just about everything there was to go through. And the meat market ever looming, you know.
Right. Across the river.
Going down to 14th Street with my pop, you know, and lugging hindquarters. I don't think this is something I really want to do. Yeah. You know, at 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, to get in the freezer to get warm. You know, we'd go in the freezer to get warm.
Jeez.
So, this ditch effort was, and thank God my dad was understanding. Yeah. I went to the neighborhood playhouse.
Which is about as good as you could go at that time.
Yeah. I guess they let me in there. I went there 2 weeks before school started. And usually you have to go through a year, but they said, well, this guy must be nuts. And they let me enter.
And who was there with you?
Well, Dabney Coleman, there were, Chris Lloyd, Jeannie Hale, Liz Ashley. I can't remember them all, and you're probably going to get me in trouble.
Okay. You'll forget somebody that ought to be mentioned.
I forgot everybody. I have this problem.
You forget?
Yeah.
Let me go to 1972. I'm leaping ahead.
Oh, good. That's a good jump, yeah. Out of the meat market.
How did you get the Godfather job? Because everybody talks about the hiring of Pacino. I guess either Robert Evans didn't want him,
well, the whole studio.
Francis didn't want him,
no, Francis
or you
definitely
didn't want him. Francis wanted him.
No, yeah, it's a great story because it's like, it probably typifies, you know, the movie industry. It's like failing upwards, you know. Right. When Francis got the job, at first I was friendly with Evans. They were looking at Costa Gravis.
As the director?
Yeah. And I suggested Francis, because Francis is a Mediterranean Italian, you know. In other words, he's not, you know, his father was the lead flautist for Toscanini, and, you know, he was into film, and it was more Mediterranean than, you know, that New York Italian that you think of, you know, connected with The Godfather. And when he got the job, he flew Bobby Duvall, Pacino, myself, and Brando. We went up there, and for the price of like 4 corned beef sandwiches, you know, Eleanor, his wife, put a bowl on her head, gave us a haircut, and we did some improvisations. You know, that was his cast. It was like with 16 millimeter film. Cost about $8.
Was this up to San Francisco?
Yeah, up at his place in San
yeah,
Francisco.
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the cast. That's all we knew. Well, about 2 months go by, and I get a call in the middle of the night from Francis, who was in New York, and he tells me, he says, Jimmy, they want you to come in and test. I said, test what? What do you got, a Porsche you want me to drive around the block? What, test what?
What?
Oh. I said, no, they want you to play Michael. I go, what are you, what are, and he was, I could tell he was disgusted.
Now, all the talk before had you playing Sonny. That's
Yeah,
what
I
you
was
had
playing
been.
Sonny, Al was playing Michael.
Yeah. And all of a sudden
Bobby
they wanted
was
you to test from Michael.
they for some reason,
They wanted him to play Michael. It's like, I know he's like perfect for Sonny. Perfect. It's insane.
Al at that point in his life, I don't know whether he was destructive, you know, or whatever, his tests, you know, were not up to par, and he'd just come in and do it, and they didn't want him, and they also told Francis that if he mentioned Brando again, he would be fired. Okay? These were those great geniuses of that time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I came into New York.
What? And they don't want Brando either. That's great. You fail upward. Yeah, it seems that way even now in Hollywood, right? Like some of the choices they make, it's like, what? Like, look at Disney and like the Acolyte, and like who's making these choices, and like the new or whatever, the trilogy of poop.
New York, and they literally had, I don't know where it was, on 59, some studio. There was every actor that you could possibly imagine. I mean, from guys from Spain, from Ireland with accents, and everybody was playing Michael. I mean, Francis was like beside himself. Yeah, from like, and guys were sitting on concrete floors. It cost $420,000. They did it for 2 days. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's a book that Mario Puzo wrote. It's called Making the Godfather.
Yeah,
and they had me playing. And there's one line he said in there. He said, if Caan had boobs, he'd have played Kay. You know, yeah. I'd be playing everything. So, and then Francis kept sneaking Al in, you know, at the end of the day to do another test, and they went nuts and da-da-da. Well, the truth is that, or the upshot is, of course, after all that money spent, you know, we wound up with the same cast that we had for the price of the
and it was studio executives. They didn't have confidence that Al could deliver, that he was.
Well,
right
I don't know what it was with Al, you know, and it was, but you know, Francis had this whole concept. I mean, he wanted Sonny to be more Americanized, you know, more Americanized looking, and you know, Al be the more, you know, the Italian, you know, looking of the brothers, you know, and so I knew he had this whole concept. I knew what Francis wanted.
As far as I understand, it's that Al was just kind of quiet, and they didn't like that. But if you watch The Godfather, Michael is kind of quiet of a guy until, really, he takes over.
And, you know, when they came in to ask me to test the next day, I just got on a train and left. I just left.
Bobby Duvall told me on this program he knew it was going to be a great movie, that you guys knew.
Well...
Did you know?
You know what we did know? I mean, I don't think anybody really ever knows because, I mean, you look at some of these movies that are successful and you go, my God, they're awful. You know?
You've been in some of those.
Oh, you bet. Thanks, Charlie. You're a hell of a good guy. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been in my share, yeah. But the truth is, what we did know is that we were having a good time. And somehow that correlates to success.
It's on the screen.
Having a good time, yeah. You know, I mean, Bobby's like the best, you know. Al was great. Brando, I don't care what anybody tells you, that, you know, was like everybody's idol, you know. I mean, us growing up, you know, going to acting school. So, and Francis was at his peak. I mean, he was the best writer, director that I've ever known at that time. You know, he's since gone on to other things, but...
Making wine.
And then Gordy Willis. I mean, they're just all the ingredients were there, you know.
Gordy Willis was a cinematographer.
Yes, yeah. And so, I mean, we knew there was good stuff going on. You could feel it, you know. the actors.
How did you prepare for it? I mean, did you
I
know
ate a
any of the
special
guys?
fruit, Charlie. I grown only in the jungles of Peru.
Yeah, no, that was for Apocalypse Now that you didn't make.
No, well, they wanted me to.
I know.
Wouldn't pay me.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Your life is defined as much by what you didn't do as what you did.
I have a great story. But, you know, oddly enough...
When you knew some guys?
Well, I grew up with...
Yeah, right.
I mean, I grew up in the neighborhood. But oddly enough, I was really fishing around. And, you know, quite often people don't... You can't correlate what my preparation was to that character of Sonny. And one day... I had already shot a scene, and I was really fishing. I was uncomfortable. It was the scene where Sollozzo comes up and makes this proposition at the oil company, when my dad and I speak out. I speak out of turn, and my father lectures me. And I knew there was something wrong. And I went home, and the next morning I woke up, and I just, for whatever reason, I started behaving like Don Rickles. Now, and I know that sounds weird, but all of a sudden it was like I came in and I just busted everybody's stones from the producer. Why, why don't you get that clean? You wore that 7 days in a row. What, here's some money. And I just started being Don Rickles. And that was it. I could have done Hamlet then
it
like
began
that.
to encourage you, I guess.
Excuse me?
Francis would encourage you, saying that works, that's good, that's...
Well, I mean, it wasn't like I had to tell anybody what was going on inside, but it was that. And through that, it was lots of improvisation. Come on, and Francis was wonderful because, I mean, there were so many things that were improvised, and I remember this one scene where we go outside and at the wedding, and the FBI guys are taking down all the license numbers. Yeah. I was with Richie Castellano was walking with me, and these guys, they had these old cameras, and they're taking pictures. When we were walking back, after I spit at the FBI guys or whatever, I came back, and for whatever reason, I don't know what came over me, but this guy took my picture. An extra, some poor guy who was, paid to do that. I grabbed this guy, I took his camera, and I smashed it on the ground. And I pulled him up against the car, and Richie was, right in the scene. I mean, it wasn't written. He pulled me up, come on, Sonny. And I remember when I was a kid, it was all right, as long as you paid the guy. And I took out a couple pens, and I threw them on the ground, it was okay. Francis loved that, And the stick, too. I put that in my car when I threw it at the guy. That wasn't in the movie, It
just happened.
Yeah, and we had, with guys like Bobby and, and Al and stuff like that. It was great. I mean, it was just wonderful.
Let me here's a clip from The Godfather. James Caan, Al Pacino, directed by Francis Coppola.
You want me to hang around?
Yeah, hang around. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah? Some food in the icebox. You hungry or anything?
No, it's all right.
How about a drink? Have a little brandy. That's good to sweat it out. Huh?
All right, sure.
Go ahead, baby.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah, right. I want you to take care of that son of a bitch right away. Paulie sold out the old man, that Strutz. I don't want to see him again. Make that first thing on your list, understand?
Understood.
Hey, Mickey, tomorrow, you get a couple of guys, you go over to Lucas' apartment, hang around, wait for him to show up.
Maybe we shouldn't get Mike mixed up in this too directly.
Listen, hang around the house on the phone and be a big help, huh? Try Luke again. Go ahead.
You told...
I love that scene. He's like, do you have some brandy and sweat it out? Is that good medical advice when you're sick? You should get drunk.
As we were watching this, you haven't seen it that much.
No,
one of the classic American films.
Yeah. No, it was. I was very proud to be in it. Although when I first saw it, only as act as a morons, I mean, the children. I was all I wanted to kill Fran. How did you cut that out? And why did you cut this out? I refused to go to the party. I said, you cut me. Oh, sure. Just, it's all about me. What about me? But I remember, I'll tell you how clever Francis, this is a great story. I remember a good friend of mine who's here with me, my friend Andrew, and we were friendly with Lenny Montana. Yeah. And Lenny Montana was not an actor. He was a wrestler at one time. He was the Masked Marvel, the guy who played Luca Brasi. He was a very famous. Right. And this guy was, he was huge. He was the strongest man I ever met in my life. weighed about 350 pounds, and his hands were like shoe boxes, you know. So there's this one scene where he comes in at the wedding and he says, Don Corleone, I am honored to be here on the day of your daughter's wedding, right? May her first child be a masculine one, right? So he kept doing it, and Francis kept saying, it's so stiff. You know, he's trying to get him loose, trying to get him loose. Jimmy, you know, do something with him. And Lenny, you know, because I knew him as a friend, you know, I abused him a little bit. I said, come here, listen, do me a favor. I took a piece of tape, and I put it on his tongue. And he was crying, Jimmy, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Don't be stupid. I said, don't worry, everybody will laugh. Just when you open the door, the camera's right on the other side of the door. So I put F-U on his tongue, right? So when he says, Don Corleone, right, you would read on the tape, F-U. So he was crying. I said, trust me, Lenny, do this. Because I figured like he'd laugh and maybe loosen him up. He near cried. Finally, I convinced him to do it. The door opened, and there's Brando on the other side of the camera. He goes, Luca Brasi, my most honored, treasured friend, whatever. He goes, Don Corleone, right? Everybody laughed. You know, everybody laughed. Then we did it again, and Brando, when he did it again, he put it on his tongue, F-U too. You know? So, because he's a Luca. You know? So, but he never could get it together. I mean, you know, get loose. And Francis, I think this was brilliant. We shot 2 or 3 weeks later, we shot the scene that preceded that scene, which was the wedding scene outside in Staten Island. Yeah. And Francis had this great idea to have, and if you remember the film, he has Luca Brasi in the corner studying a speech that was never written. I mean, it was a piece of brilliant work, you know, where he was saying, Don Corleone, I am honored to be. So that it worked. So when he came in, it was like this speech that he had memorized. I thought that was... I probably liked the story a lot better than anybody else.
No, we like the story.
Thanks.
Brian's song came out at the same time, didn't it? Same year?
Right.
Emmy,
Right.
It was a huge success.
Right.
You couldn't have been bigger after those 2 movies, right? I mean, it was huge for you.
Yeah. No, that was a very fortunate year.
Oh, God.
No, it was. I mean, the truth is, you know.
Come on, you walked around saying...
by you know, your success by, you know, the commerciality of the films,
and
not necessarily. I wasn't any worse a year earlier.
You were no worse an actor. You were every bit as good.
But
let's just click off the things. I mean, here you are, a huge success in 2, one film, an Emmy Award winning, much watched on television, and the other, The Godfather. You turned down in succeeding years Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it.
No.
They wanted you to play whose part?
The part that Marty Sheen played.
Okay, drove him to a heart attack.
Poor guy, yeah. Well, Francis, at the time, my first wife was pregnant. My second wife was pregnant. And Francis came to me and said, you can play any part you want. So, okay, and I picked out Colonel Coon, the guy, you know, that Bobby eventually played. But he was playing poker with me, see? Yeah. He thought I'd pick out, like, that big part. He said, come on, Jimmy, it's 16 weeks. I go, Francis, this is me. Who are you talking about? 16 weeks. He says, no, we'll live in, you know, in Manila.
In the Philippines, yes.
Yeah, we'll live in Manila and we'll fly to. I said, that's 2 things I hate, okay? Height and tsetse flies, you know? So forget it. You know, my kid is not going to be born in Manila, you know? So, I unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, turned that down.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Right. Middle class, bourgeois horse shit, I said.
Yes.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Turned it down.
Yeah. See, I was going to go into a business at one time.
You could have had a brilliant career.
It was great. Yeah. I was going to, like, quit this stupid stuff that I do, you know, which is a silly thing for a grown man to do anyway. And I was going to hire myself out to studio executives. And this is all I would do. If they gave me a script and I said, this stinks, sink every dollar you got into it.
It'll be a big hit.
Put everything you got into it. If I like it, blow it off. Right. See, I was seriously thinking of that, and people were going to pay a lot of money for that advice.
Didn't you have good advice? Didn't somebody come along and say,
an actor has
Jimmy,
no advice
this
other
is
than
going
their
to
own.
be great?
Yeah, people try, but you don't listen. No, because it's all about me.
And how bad did it get between what
So if he hates the script, they should make it. If he loves the script, don't touch it. That's hilarious.
Happened to you after The Godfather and turning down those films and the comeback, the big comeback with Misery?
There was quite a few years after that. I mean, I wrote a pretty nice crest for a while because I did a bunch of films after that. I did Gambler, Thief, Cinderella, Liberty, and Funny Lady, and a lot of
things
films
that
I liked,
proud of.
and I was proud of. Then, there was a personal tragedy. I lost my sister at a point, and
She had leukemia, did she?
Yeah, she had leukemia, and she was like my best friend, and I got involved in the goddamn drug scene and all that. I mean, which for me was like absurd because where I came from, I mean, like if I had one beer, I would be gone. I never saw that stuff, but at the time that was running around, and and when I lost my sister, I just realized that you got to have passion for something, and I really didn't have any, for that, like. I think my 3 least favorite words are "I don't care." It's like if someone says, "You want to play tennis?" "I don't care." Well, if you don't care, don't play.
Don't do it.
You want to make love? "I don't care." You don't care?
Don't do it.
The hell with you, So I just quit. I thought I had plenty of money, and I don't really regret it. I mean, there are some things I do regret, obviously, but I had a great time. I coached kids for about 5.5, 6 years. My son Scott, my oldest son Scott, who's 19 now, I coached.
And an actor.
And a great actor, young, very proud dad. My 5-year-old, I think Alex is going to be one too. And I have a 7-month-old too. And my daughter's 32. She's thank God not in the business. But
you threw it away. I mean, you were making a lot of bad decisions.
I didn't so much throw it away as I coached these kids, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
I coached.
So the time that you weren't acting, you were getting another kind of psychic income from
it was great.
family.
I was coaching kids 10 months a year. I went from AYSO to soccer, to Little League to basketball. And people talk, "Oh, your creative needs." I said, "Listen, I didn't have to wait. I'd work with one kid and change his whole life in 5 minutes. I didn't have to wait like for 6 months for them to put music and edit it and whatever.
Right.
It happened right there, and I had a great time. Not coming back. One day I looked and my dog's bones were showing, and I was hungry, and somebody left with all my money, and I got pretty much robbed, and that was a tough time. That was a tough time.
Not having the money. No.
Well, coming back, like I always say, that old adage that absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's not true. It makes them think you're dead, So I had to overcome.
The head thing.
Well, not me so much as the perception that was there. I never really hung out, but there were a lot of stories, and if half of them were true, I would have had a ball. But some of them were close enough.
We're close.
Yeah, and so I had to overcome that. And as a matter of fact, Francis was the first to come to my
Gardens of Stone,
right? And again, there was a horrible tragedy on that where Francis lost his son, and Gio, who I knew since he was 3 as well. So I mean, what's making a movie? What are we curing cancer? What the hell is it? I mean, it's silly. And then Castle Rock, Rob Reiner and Andy Shine and all those guys came to Misery, and then Honeymoon in Vegas.
And where are you now? I mean, the new film is Eraser, in terms of how you see the work you do and how you see the career and how you see, are you having a good time?
Yeah,
do you feel
I'm having a lot better time, Charlie, than I used to. There's a big difference between wanting to work and having to work.
Yeah.
I think I finally looked at my birth certificate and said, hey, stop all these non-Jewish activities, what I call, 9 shoulder operations, rodeoing, just racing boats. And hopefully, I obviously, did Eraser, but because I'm not really much in favor of these huge pictures. The pictures that are big just to be big. If you strip them of their special effects and their explosions and the stunts, there's nothing but fluff left. So, there's not much need for guys like Duval or Al or, Dustin, guys like that. But in this case, there was a very good story. There was a story. So had you taken all that stuff away, you still had a pretty good story, and it was very well written and good characters. So I was lucky enough and obviously there's a commercial value when you do an Arnold Schwarzenegger picture.
Because it makes a lot of money, and therefore
It makes
they come
money,
to you and
therefore
say,
I'm a brilliant person again, And
you helped make the film.
yeah, of course, it's all my fault.
It was Caan there. He made Arnold do it.
Cononegger, yeah.
Cononegger, yeah. He put on the back of the sweatshirt.
Yeah, right.
T-shirt.
And things are going really well.
It's great to have you here.
Well,
we have a
thank you.
clip from this film. Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you too. You were his mentor.
Right.
It's about the witness protection
Program, right.
and Vanessa Williams is in. The
Beautiful
gorgeous,
Vanessa.
Beautiful Vanessa Williams. And
He gets the girl, too.
And he gets the girl.
Yeah,
and
he insisted. He cried like a babe.
Eraser, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Vanessa Williams, and Jimmy Caan. You also have two other films coming out in 1996. One is...
After this, I did a comedy with Damon Wayans and
But yeah, I just thought it was a good interview. Just reviewed The Gambler with James Caan. Great actor. Eraser's a good movie. I mean, I agree. There actually is a pretty good story in Eraser. I see what he's saying. It's not just a hollow movie with just special effects and stuff like you'd see today, really. But yeah, just a great actor, and it's too bad he's dead. I just think in Hollywood, they're not replacing these actors. I don't see the next James Caan, the next Al Pacino. I mean, Robert De Niro. I mean, I don't know. Robert De Niro I see now, and just not into his stuff that much. But, like in The Gambler, I forgot to mention Burt Young's in it. He died a few years ago. He's such a good actor. Just they have character and charisma, and a lot of actors today, I'm just not seeing it, which is maybe why Hollywood isn't doing that good too, among other reasons. But I just think the acting quality isn't quite there, and that's just my opinion. I know some people will go, no, that's not true. It's just a different time, and I don't agree. But yeah, nice little discussion. Yeah, I didn't realize he kind of left Hollywood for like 5 years in the 80s. Because Thief is 1980, I think. But I guess after that he kind of left. And yeah, he's amazing in Misery. That's an amazing movie. He's basically playing Stephen King. But, yeah, that's about it though. And I'll see you next time.